Every autumn, four childhood friends returned to the remote village of Black Hollow, a forgotten place surrounded by dense forests and heavy fog. The village seemed ordinary during the day, but at night an uneasy feeling settled over every street and empty field. Standing beyond the last row of houses was Griever Manor, an abandoned building feared for generations. Nobody entered it. Nobody spoke about it. Yet this year, something had changed. Strange lights flickered behind its shattered windows after sunset, and villagers began hearing unexplained noises carried by the wind. What once looked like an empty ruin now felt alive. Driven by curiosity and old childhood memories, Myra, Ethan, Caleb, and Nora decided to finally uncover the truth. None of them realized they were about to awaken a darkness that had been waiting for decades. On Halloween night, the four friends made their way toward Griever Manor. The closer they got, the quieter the world became. Even the sounds of insects and rustling leaves seemed to disappear around the property. When they stepped through the front door, a freezing chill swept through the house. Thick layers of dust covered the floor, while faded portraits stared from the walls with their eyes scratched away. Every room felt wrong, as though the manor itself was watching them. Then they discovered a red door at the end of a hallway. None of them remembered it from childhood visits near the estate. As the door slowly opened, faint whispers echoed through the darkness. The voices sounded distant yet familiar, and for a brief moment, each friend thought they heard someone calling their name. Beyond the red door waited a room unlike anything they had ever seen. The circular chamber was covered with thousands of papers pinned to every wall. Curious, the friends began reading them. Their confusion quickly turned to fear. Each page contained detailed information about someone from Black Hollow, including events from their lives that no stranger could possibly know. Then they found pages with their own names. The documents listed personal memories, private conversations, and moments they had never shared with anyone. As they searched further, Nora discovered a page predicting a future date beside her name. Beneath it was a short handwritten message: "She sees them." The temperature in the room suddenly dropped. Somewhere above them, slow footsteps echoed through the manor. Even though they knew they were completely alone, the friends left the manor believing the nightmare was over. They were wrong. In the weeks that followed, strange events began invading their lives. Ethan repeatedly saw dark figures standing outside his bedroom window late at night. Caleb heard knocking beneath his floorboards whenever the house was silent. Myra started receiving mysterious sketches of Griever Manor in her mailbox, each drawing more disturbing than the last. Meanwhile, Nora became obsessed with researching the history of Black Hollow. Deep within old records, she discovered stories about a vanished family known as the Grievers. Witnesses from over a century ago described seeing a towering shadow standing on the hill behind the manor every autumn. Even more disturbing, the records suggested the figure moved closer to the village every single year. The friends could not ignore what they had seen, so they returned to Griever Manor hoping to find answers. But the house had changed. It felt heavier, like it was aware of them now. Beneath the manor, they discovered a hidden staircase leading into a vast underground chamber. Inside were hundreds of clocks covering every wall, each one ticking at a different speed, some even moving backward. In the center stood a massive black clock with no hands. The moment they stepped closer, all the clocks stopped at once. A deep silence filled the chamber, heavier than sound itself, as if time itself had paused to listen. Something was wrong. 1 second they were all together, and the next Nora was gone. No sound. No struggle. Just emptiness where she had been standing. Panic spread through the group as they searched the chamber, but it was as if she had been erased from the space entirely. When they tried to leave, the exit no longer looked the same. Even worse, the village above seemed quieter when they returned. People passed them in the streets, but no one reacted to Nora's absence. It was as if the world itself was beginning to forget she ever existed. Only the three of them still remembered her, but even that memory felt unstable. The days passed, but the changes grew worse. Ethan began noticing people in Black Hollow acting unfamiliar, like pieces of their lives were missing. Caleb found photographs where Nora should have been, but her image was blurred, distorted, or completely gone. Myra started hearing whispers at night, repeating the same phrase over and over: "The clock is not finished." Meanwhile, the shadow on the hill became impossible to ignore. It no longer stood still. It moved closer every night, growing larger, as if feeding on the disappearing world. The friends realized something terrifying: the manor was not just affecting the house. It was rewriting reality itself, piece by piece. On the final night, the three friends returned to Griever Manor for answers, or whatever truth remained. The underground chamber was no longer silent. The black clock had changed, now showing a single moving hand counting down toward midnight. Every tick echoed through their bodies like a heartbeat. Around them, the remaining clocks began cracking, as if reality could no longer hold itself together. Outside, Black Hollow was disappearing in pieces, houses fading, roads dissolving, names vanishing from existence. Ethan tried to stop the clock, but the moment he touched it, he collapsed into nothing. Caleb followed, erased without warning. Alone, Myra stood before the final ticking moment. When the clock struck midnight, everything stopped, and the voice returned softly from the darkness, "See you next year."